We enter the profession of medicine with appreciation for the opportunity to build on the scientific and humanistic achievements of the past. We also recognize the acts and systems of oppression affected in the name of medicine. We take this oath of service to begin building a future grounded in truth, restoration, and equity, to fulfill medicine's capacity to liberate. I vow to use this knowledge to uplift my patients and disrupt the injustices that harm them as I forge the future of medicine. I promise to self-reflect diligently, to confront unconscious prejudices, and to develop the skills, knowledge, and character necessary to engender an inclusive, equitable field of medicine. Let us bow our heads in recognition of the gravity of this oath. We swear to faithfully engage with these ideals and obligations for the ongoing betterment of medicine and humanity.
Just a heads up for you, that's medical students graduating from Columbia. So the next time you have to go under the knife or a loved one does, just so you know, that's what they learn in school. Joining me now, my friend Kira Davis, deputy editor for Red State, also author of a great new book called Drawing Lines. I would highly recommend you buy it. Kira, it frightens me when I take a step back and consider this, because I think about this a lot. You look at some idiot like Corinne Diversity hire, and people love to make fun of her. We all make fun of her because she can't communicate, a press secretary who can't communicate. But the truth is, the future of this country is your pilots, your surgeons, your cops, your people who aren't qualified for the job doing the job, and that's frightening.
Yeah, I almost said amen at the end of that clip because it did feel like sitting in church. It was so, there's such a religiosity about it, and this whole thing has become a religion. It absolutely does make us weaker, and it's totally frightening, especially because I think part of our weakness, or the weakness that we're sowing into the future, is that we are complicating very simple ideas, right? Everything that they said in that liturgy could have been accomplished by the traditional oath that medical professionals take, which is first do no harm, which basically encompasses every idea that is meant to be included in that CRT heavy liturgy, right? So first do no harm and have a commitment to healing. And that should cover just about everything, regardless of the race or the sex or whatever of the person you're treating. Now we are sowing this weakness into the future that is really going to have an impact on the quality of services we get. I was even reading an article today about how the Army is suffering from lack of recruits because the wokeness that is being introduced into the recruitment process it's a turnoff for a lot of people. And then the people that it does engage are people who are, for lack of a better term, weak-minded. And weak minds build weak bodies. And that's not a really great position to run the military from. So I do find these things rather frightening. I mean, these aren't harmless things. And just as an anecdote, Jesse, I live in California, as you know, and this is the quality of doctor that we get here. And it prevents me from taking my children and myself to the doctor on a regular basis. I just cannot tolerate the lecture and the condescension that I get every time I'm standing in front of a doctor. They act like I don't know anything and that I actually don't have the best interest of my child in mind when I just want to ask some questions and have a quality conversation with my medical professional. It's a scary future.
Kira, if it makes you feel better, it's marginally better here in Texas in that they're not openly activist. But the wife and I, we haven't found a family doctor since we moved here, and that's we're closing in on a decade here. It's not just the condescension. We don't get as much of that here. They're all morons. And I really mean that. They're not providing any genuine insight that I couldn't have gotten with a 5-minute web search at all. In fact, most of the time I walk in and leave with more medical knowledge than they have about what I'm going through. And that scares me, Kira, because while I can treat my own common cold, I can't treat my own colon cancer. And this is a country where our medical institutions are circling the drain quickly because of this crap.
Yeah, I mean, it would behoove the next generation of the political class to really address this. I think this is really what my book is about too, by the way. Like I really think that we have left so many sectors of culture and the economy to the left because we have just been so we find it distasteful. We've been really turned off by what they're doing. And our response as conservatives has been to back off of the culture, to exit. Oh, well, you know what? They have the colleges. Oh, well, what can we do? Oh, well, they have the public school system. Oh, well, what can we do? Oh, well, they own entertainment. Oh, well, what can we do? We basically have nothing left now. And now here we are having conversations like this when we could have been addressing this from the beginning. This is why it's really important for grown-ups to stand up and say enough is enough. And when we see stuff like this happening, we really have to nip it in the bud. I think that is why governors like Ron DeSantis are going to be effective leaders in the future, because for all of the criticism that men like him get and politicians like him get, what he's doing isn't so much political, it's cultural. It's based on the idea that we have to start now. Even now, starting now, we're behind the 8 ball, right? Like it's going to take another decade of a hard push towards common sense to undo some of this stuff. But that doesn't mean that we should just stop and give up. It really is time for people to stand up and forget about what people are going to call you, the names are going to call you, the insults are going to lob at your way, you're homophobic, you're a racist, whatever. At some point you have to be a grown-up and be like, I'm rubber and you're glue. Whatever you say, it bounces off me and sticks to you. Like at some point you just got to be like, oh, well, call me what you want. I'm a grown-up and I'm putting my foot down here.
Should be known she put her money where her mouth is. She ran for school board and endured all of those insults. Ran for office a couple times myself. She's got to buck up and get some thick skin. Her book is called Drawing Lines. Kira Davis, thank you, ma'am.
Thanks, Jesse.